Wife demanded an open marriage because it's her body and she's free. She cried endlessly when I, male 33, let my wife, female 32, coerce me into an open marriage, and now I want to leave. The 10th anniversary is coming in a month, but I don't think we make it that far. The COVID years, not seeing my family or friends for a long time, I live abroad, and a slowly eroding relationship took a toll on me. She hates my parents and our sex life was getting worse over the years, as she was criticizing and mocking me when I didn't perform so well or blaming me when I was too tired to have sex. Around 2.5 years ago, a depression slowly crept up on me and my wife decided to start an emotional affair with a male colleague around that time. When I confronted her, she accused me of being possessive and insecure. That repeated several times. My mental health went on a downward spiral as we were arguing daily, and she blamed me for a negative energy and not smiling enough. I almost didn't sleep and lost all libido. Then she asked if she could get sex somewhere else since I'm not in the best form. I was shocked and refused immediately while telling her that it's against my core values to have an open relationship. She got mad for me and willing to sacrifice for her and claims she can do whatever she wants with her body. Eventually, I went to the doctor and got heavy antidepressants. She kept claiming that she can stop her friendship anytime if it's hurting me so badly. She never did. After trying to work on her sex life and telling her that the criticizing isn't helpful, she just claimed I'm oversensitive. She also refused counseling. The pressuring to open the marriage went on for a year until I gave in. I was trying to get my mental health better and I just didn't have the strength anymore. We were about to move to a new house far away from that guy. I thought that she might just not do anything stupid when it's not the forbidden fruit anymore, and soon we'll be far away. Man, I was wrong. She f'd him at least 10 times. My head was done with her at that point and I should have left, but somehow my heart still believed. So we made the move. I thought this was the chance to still recover. But she would blame me for bringing up old topics when I tried to talk about what happened and spend hours locked up in the bedroom. Eventually, I found out why. She's been already messaging some local guys. For me, too much has been broken at this point. I know I've done this for myself. I need to and want to get out. I consulted a lawyer already. I wanted to tell her I want a divorce when I have an apartment, but a couple of days ago, she came home smelling like another dude. She didn't even shower. She smelled for 2 days. It was difficult not to throw up. I waited to calm down and this weekend I told her I want to leave. We ended up talking for hours, which was incredibly exhausting. I told her that I don't see any other way than moving out. She got emotional, but we mostly could talk fairly and calmly. She doesn't want to end it though. She wants to try again. I told her that I don't think that it would somehow undo the past 2.5 years of emotional abuse and affairs. I'll sleep with one eye open forever. She said she was like that because she wanted to fight for what she felt was right for her, meaning effing a colleague as an attempt to deal with her being raped some 12 to 13 years ago. She claims it had helped her, but the price is too big. I told her what the price is me leaving in advance though. She thinks we can make it if we want to. And if I don't, then I gave up on us. She also told me how I'm the right one for her, how she loves me and that she likes almost everything about me. She also tried to seduce me to have sex. I don't know. Is this love bombing? She said she understands she did hurt me. I even kind of believe her that she says she loves me. But I don't comprehend how you can treat someone you love like this for 2.5 years. I mean, she asked her current guy last week, apparently, only out of despair, because our relationship is in such a bad state, and she doesn't feel desired. I told her that my desire went after she coerced me into an open marriage and started screwing around. Anyways, she still wants to work on us and our sex life. I don't feel like I can do it anymore. In bed, it was never really good, despite my best attempts. She asked if I don't want the nice times to come back. I told her that the nice times were the main reason why I stuck around for so long, trying to fight for the relationship. But now I'm too exhausted. Despite that, I asked, how does she think we could fix it then? She said more talking and cuddling. And it turns out, she wants to keep her friend around because when I asked whether she is ready to go no contact with him, she refused. If I'm forbidding her from having friends, we can just end it. I told her that if she f'd him last week, he's not her friend. She didn't get it. Today, she said that if we were to close the relationship again, it would need to suit her, meaning that we would need to have sex again and she would need to feel happy and feel desired again. It feels like she just expects me to do everything like she needs it and she's barely able to give anything distantly resembling a compromise. For me, going no contact with her friends would be the bare minimum to even consider not leaving. My gut feeling speaks clearly though. I should leave and I started working on it. Does anyone have similar experience or any advice? Is there someone who thinks I should try to reconcile with her? TLDR, wife started an emotional affair and eventually demanded open marriage. I resisted for a year, but eventually gave in. She had sexual relations with 1 to 3 guys else since then. I've been suffering with anxiety and depression for almost the whole time. We moved to a new house far away and I was hoping for an improvement only to find out that she's been active on dating sites searching for sex partners again. Now I want to leave. Update. It's been a while, so I decided to do an update. Since the last time my wife slept with her friend out of sheer desperation, because our relationship has been so rocky for the past 2 to 3 years, I finally started taking steps towards a separation and a divorce. I don't live in the US, and I can't get divorced as fast as it's usually possible there. I met with a lawyer in secret, created a strategy for dividing the assets we own together, started slowly gathering my personal belongings I want to keep and take with me, and most importantly, I started looking for an apartment, also in secret. It has been much more challenging than I expected. I was counting with some troubles as I was searching for a place some 600 kilometers away, but it took months to find something. But I have a place to stay. I told my wife a few times already that I can't continue this relationship and will be leaving. For the first time shortly after her admitting having sex with the last guy and 2 more times since then, her reaction was always the same. She got emotional crying and claimed that she didn't give up on us. But I am. For the record, she's the one who had affairs with several men. She has contact with him till this day and thinks I don't know probably. She's the one who has a significant part in my mental breakdown and needing to take antidepressants, and she's the one who threw the wedding ring at me at one point after an argument, who said it's over for her, that if I don't accept the reality of her effing whoever she wants, I can leave, and who said it's much better when I'm not at home. Now when I took her suggestion, she's suddenly trying to hold on to me and pretends like the conversation about me leaving didn't happen. Anyway, I'm planning on packing my stuff on Friday, handing it over to the moving company on Saturday, and taking the train with the rest of my things on Sunday. Need to tell her that now, and I'm terrified for some reason. Even after all what she's done to me, I just don't want to hurt her. At the same time, I'm really pissed at her for doing what she did to me and also at myself for letting it get this far. I also still keep getting second thoughts and must force myself into continuing with the plan. Is this normal? Also, any advice on how to approach this final conversation? It's quite last-minute announcement, but then again, I told her several times in the last 3 months. Just never told her how far I am in my plan or that I have an apartment arranged already. It's natural to get second thoughts, but then you have to remind yourself everything that she's done to disrespect you, and then it should make it easy for you to walk away. I mean, she walked away from you and your marriage long ago. You've already given more chances than most would, and it's clear you've thought long and hard about this decision. Leaving isn't giving up. It's prioritizing your mental health and happiness, which she hasn't done. What advice would you give someone struggling to leave a partner who has emotionally manipulated them? Share your advice in the comments below. Meanwhile, up next, a girlfriend offers her friends as a consolation prize. Girlfriend cheats on me and says I can cheat back to keep me. I'll try to keep this short as much as possible, as I'm not very good at grammar. But as you have read the title, I discovered my girlfriend, 27 female, had cheated on me, 27 male. Have been together for less than a year and we were planning on moving in together. I eventually found out when she wouldn't let me come visit her as frequent and started talking to me less. Obvious red flags, and I hate to say it, but I stalked her one time with a friend in his car to her apartment and saw another guy I didn't know go into her apartment. I tried to stay as calm as I could as I knew I needed evidence, but I couldn't help myself and went up to knock on her door an hour in. I knocked a couple of times and no answer until finally I called her and she answered. I asked her what she was doing in a shaky voice, and she said she was asleep when I woke her up. I knew this was a lie, obviously, as it was only 10:30, and she usually doesn't go to sleep until 1 because our usual ritual, if we don't see each other, is we FaceTime each other until one of us falls asleep. But I couldn't contain my anger and hurt anymore, and I knocked on her door while also saying over the phone that I know she's hiding a guy in her apartment, and if she doesn't open the door and explain herself, I was done with her. And before I got done talking over the phone, she opened the door and she appeared in a big t-shirt with nothing else underneath. Very uncommon for her, as when we don't FaceTime, she's usually in pajamas. She asked me why I'm here at her door accusing her of sneaking someone in. And I said for her to prove it, and she let me in the apartment. I couldn't find anyone, but right then my friend sent me a text with a video of some guy who was shirtless and pants hanging climbing out of her side window and hopping out and running to the other end. It was obviously her window as her apartment. As I was knocking and trying to call her, I was also shown in the shot my friend took. Anyways, I showed her that evidence and she broke down crying. Her lame excuse was she felt pressured by her girlfriends to go to the club and dance with other guys and she just couldn't resist. I asked her if he was the only one and how many times has it been. She swears that's the first time, but I know she's lying. She then grabs my arm tightly and looked up from a kneeling position and says that she will let me cheat on her with one girl and it can be anyone I want. She even offered to have me sleep with one of her girlfriends if I wanted to. Disgusted, I took her hand off and I left. She's been calling me non-stop since then and has been 4 days. I know I'm gonna dump her, but I'm still very much blinded by rage. I warned her to hurt, but if she's offering her friends just like that, would it even be worth it? Should I just ghost her? Should I pick her mom or her sister? Should I tell her family? So many questions going on in my head. Opie's update was in the comments section. Hey, everyone, thanks for all the feedback and support. Some of you have been very helpful and some of you are a bit harsh and the others with the sarcasm are awesome. But I wanted to let everyone know that I'm doing much better now after 3 days since my original post. A lot has happened in the short amount of time and I'd like to share with you guys who have asked. So long story short, my phone was obviously blown up by her and her friends, so I shut off my phone and left it behind until Saturday. In between that time, I left and took a break from reality to grief in my own way. Excessive day drinking, multiple self-talks, going in and out of town on numerous drives, and listening to all the sad songs I could think of. I've been away from my apartment the whole time and I knew she came over as there was a bag with a couple of envelopes in there hanging on my door handle. I purposely chose to come back when I knew she would be at work that way. I won't be bothered with seeing her. Funnily enough, I missed playing on my PS5, so I just took the bag of envelopes and threw it on the floor while I got to gaming. Played through many series of action games at a time before finally turning on my phone from boredom, and sure enough, notifications flying on in. Most of it's because of her, but, of course, some from my parents. I'm an only child, by the way. For obvious reasons, I called back my mom first as she left a voicemail from my ex that I had disappeared and she was worried I got kidnapped as I never frequent time away with no contact. Mom answered and we went through the whole "where did you go" combo until we got to the part about my ex, and fortunately, I had very understanding parents. Like most of you, they immediately took my side and said for me to leave her as clearly I was not only betrayed but disrespected. I told them that if she makes contact with them again to tell her they no longer welcome her as she is now a stranger. That then leads me to address the actual breakup. Before I did, I took a look at some of your comments and they definitely brightened my day. Never knew how supportive some people on the internet could be, but the funny ones like "go ahead and screw her mom or sister" are both had me going. I only got to meet them a handful of times in less than a year of dating only, so I really had no deeper connections with them. But I also needed to make sure she knew how bad she messed up. In terms of her offer to cheat back with one of her friends, like her friends are attractive but not like her. Not saying she's like the hottest of her friends group, but she just has this magnetic personality that makes her much more desirable than her friends. So even though it was very painful for me still and I honestly was nervous, I decided to finally answer one of her calls. We had an awkward conversation which I was surprised as to how she started that out because it was very mundane and I guess she was either trying to dodge the bullet or play it as if nothing happened. I played along with short uninterested answers until she was finally quiet and then I let loose the boiling emotions. I asked her if she still wants me to sleep with her friend, and she says back, "if that's what it will take for us to stay together." I shot back with, "you were willing to sleep with someone random. Why do I have to sleep with someone you know?" Right there, she went silent again and paused for a second. She finally answered back that it's because she didn't want to risk me getting attached to someone else, and if it's one of her friends, then she knows they won't try to steal me from her. Obviously, I was pissed at that answer, but I kept my cool. I then asked her who the guy was and how long, with also saying that if she doesn't tell me the truth, then I'm blocking her. She waited again and said 3 months and 3 times. They've been seeing each other because her friends said that she could do better than me and that I was cheating on her whenever I didn't want to hang out with them whenever they go as a group of couples. The guy she cheated with apparently was a friend of one of her friend's boyfriend who came to hang out one time I didn't go and my ex did, so he basically filled in my role. To them, they had a much better time with him than with me, and so she caved into pressure after 3 months of hanging out. During those 3 months, they were seeing each other. It was whenever I didn't go hang out with the group. Not that I never did, but my work schedule rotates weekends for later shifts, so I don't always get to go. But again, sometimes even when I do have weekends off, I still don't go sometimes because I want to do other things. Anyways, I told her thanks for trying, but she should have just broke it off with me after the first time they met. She gave the sob story of he was just a friend and she still wanted to be with me, and I basically cut her off saying if she wanted to be with me, she would have never cheated. She said she was a victim of peer pressure and she's usually too intoxicated to reject him. I then countered with what about the night I found out and I caught her. She went silent again and I angrily said to her we're through and this was a recorded call. She freaked out and started pleading to not tell anyone. Obviously I didn't record, but I told her that I'm going to block her on everything and if she ever tries to talk to me in person that I will just ignore her. Hung up the phone and went straight to blocking her as I mentioned. I also knew that her friends would contact me next, so I went ahead and got them blocked off too. Sweet, sweet silence so far and no more remorse for a cheater. Like many of you said, sure, I could have a second with one of her friends, but it wouldn't do anything for me. I do feel sorry for her because it's like she purposely stays with that toxic group of people and let them influence her life, but at the same time, I won't be disrespected again. I had been cheated on before and I begged for that one high school ex who left me for a more popular jock. I won't beg again because the thing that I didn't get was she offered her friends who all have their own boyfriends except one of them. It's a friend group of 8 girls including her. So if I could sleep with any of them, then either they are all hoes or swingers, which I don't really care for the swinger lifestyle. Not trying to catch no STD. But anyways, thanks everyone for your inputs. I don't have a lot of friends now as an aged adult and I appreciate you guys for listening to my story. It actually really helps. Her excuses, peer pressure, being too drunk, offering her friends, are just ridiculous attempts to shift blame and avoid accountability. Then there's the offer for you to cheat back is especially telling. She's trying to patch things up with something transactional, not with genuine remorse or effort to build her trust. Don't let her actions make you question your worth, OP. You've got this.